Hi, it's a Shaxi, and it's July and it's about 90 degrees out this week, so it's perfect felting weather. One of the things that I had planned with a bunch of people that I hang out with this summer was to do some felting together, but we have this COVID thing, so in person isn't happening. So I thought I would go ahead and start a series of taking things from sheep to shoe or hat. So I have this big bag of fleece. I don't know where it came from. I don't even know what kind of fiber it is. It could be sheep, it could be llama. I don't really know. So I am going to take some of it out. It looks like, I think it's sheep. It looks like maybe it's end cuts. You can see the staples. Some of the staples aren't super long. Some of them are nice and long. So this would not be super great for spinning to weave, but I think it will be fine for felting. But just to make sure, we're going to do a little test run. So what I'm doing is just kind of pulling apart the fibers a little bit. And you can see I've got most of the fibers going this way. And I'm going to pull some more and lay them over those fibers going the opposite way. So the first layer, all the fibers are this way. The second layer, all the fibers are this way. Whoops, and I dropped it. But it's still kind of together. And then I'm going to do one more with the fibers going this way again. So I basically have this little poodle pile, and it's got 1, 2, 3 layers. Okay, and I'm going to just do a little test patch of felt. Right now it's completely dry. This isn't going to be used for anything. It's just to tell me whether or not the fibers are going to felt up. So the first thing I'm going to do is put a little soap on there. I love to use Dr. Bronner's. I super love the mint, especially if you happen to be working with stinky fleece that's maybe not cleaned and still has veggie matter and poop in it, because, you know, sheep poop, so that can be kind of gross. Anyway, so it is, I'm in our upstairs bathroom, and it's probably 80 degrees in here, and I always find it better. I'm just going to drip some water now that I've put soap on and just start getting it damp. I always find it better to felt in warm weather. Things just seem to go a lot better. And you can see I'm just kind of very lightly putting my hands together. I don't want to move the fibers out of their spot. I just want to start to gently compress them, and they are sticking to my hand. So this stage is really gentle. I'm not clapping. I'm just really gently pressing in. I'm waiting for this water to warm up too. So right now it's cold water. Eventually we should be getting some warmer water. But we may not need to wait that far. So I come in and I just really lightly start to tap it. And as it starts to solidify a little bit, and I have a little too much soap in here, there's a whole science behind this about what pH is best. When you felt, the scales around the outside of each hair shaft open with the heat, and then they catch on each other, and then when you shock it with cold, they close back in, and so they become a solid fabric. And so basically what felting is you're putting fibers together and trying to get them to stick. So that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm starting to apply a little bit more pressure and actually moving it back and forth. And these are not felting up real well, but I also don't have the water hot yet. So what I should have done is heated up a teapot on the stove of nice hot water. And when I felt, I try to use water as hot as my hands can take it. And I'm a little short on soap now because I kind of rinsed all of that soap out, so I'm adding a little more. And now I'm adding a little more pressure. You can see I can actually rub on it now without the fibers sticking to my hands. They're starting to stick to each other instead. So that's a good sign. And my water's finally getting hot. So I'm gonna get some hot water into the mix. And you can hear my cat has decided that this is a good time to use his cat box and do lots of scratching. So that's what that background noise is. Because cats are awesome like that. Okay, so that is starting to felt together. And really the whole purpose of this is to just make sure that the fiber you have is going to felt. Because you don't want to put in the time of carding fiber and trying to felt it. Like this is a big bag of fiber. And I don't want to put all the time in carding it only to find out that it's not going to felt up for me. And it's not really going to be suitable for spinning. So, so that is not hard felted yet. You can tell because I can come to the side and kind of pull bits up, but it is definitely felting together. I can still kind of pull it apart a little bit. And it's at the stage now where I can really get a little rough with it and maybe rub it on itself a little bit. And if I were trying to felt something to a particular size, I would have done this a little more scientifically. I would have made a square of felt and measured it before, when I laid out the fibers, and then measured it again after it was all felted together to get my percentage of shrinkage so that I know how much bigger I need to make my piece of felt than the final product that I desire. So I am going to call this a successful experiment, and I'm just going to come over here to the faucet. Ow, that's too hot for my hands now. Ouch, man, that got really hot. And I'm gonna shock it. That's really, really hot. So we've got those scales on those fibers wide open. And then I'm gonna shock it by going cold. Okay, and so this was fiber that we didn't card, so we didn't get it really spread out into individual fibers. And I'm just gonna squeeze the moisture out of it. But we did manage to get a nice little piece of felt out of that. And it's still a little, it could go further, but I know now that this is definitely feltable. So I can go ahead and spend the time carding it and then felting it. And so that is step one. You want to do a test patch of your fiber to make sure that it's going to felt up for you. See you for step two, which is going to be carding. Okay, bye.